Good evening, warm welcome. So today's question is how do you plan for the material or the supply? It all depends upon the size of organization, how many products we are handling. For a simple organization, it can be just a sheet with a pen or pencil may be sufficient. If you are dealing with, say, 100 or 500 SKUs, but things may become slightly complex when you have to deal with, say, 5,000 to 5,000 SKUs. In such case, paper pencil may not work. Possibly, Excel may work. But in the current environment, either manufacturing or distribution environment, the number of pots handled is growing day by day, and even for a normal size organization, the number of pots handled could be in the term of 50,000 or 1 lakh SKU. And if you go to e-commerce platform like Amazon, the number of SKU handled could be as high as 10 million or 20 million. So there should be a proper use of software which can take care of things. So today's topic is that, allow me to attach the screen so that we will discuss briefly on the requirement. Today's session is live in both LinkedIn and YouTube. If you want to see previous interview question and answer, you can go to my YouTube channel where you can see similar questions being answered. So many organization they have a separate position in the planning, possibly reporting to a supply chain manager. They may be called as material analyst, supply analyst, or in the traditional organization, it could be supply planner or material planner. Nowadays, analyst is getting attached for the reason that they expect supply chain executive should also have the analytical capability. In the normal circumstances, you assume you're handling a moderate amount of material, maybe in a retail environment, because if you go to a manufacturing environment, that is much more complex, because there we are seeing in terms of component required and then production scheduling, all that involved. Assume you are in a warehouse, maybe a e-commerce platform, and you have to just meet the customer requirement. And most of the e-commerce platform, they have the material readily available, okay, readily available, but you need to also inform the vendors in advance. If you this item is fast moving, you should always keep some quantity in stock to meet the customer expectation, because customer wants this item maybe within 2 days or within 5 days, depending upon which e-commerce platform. And on the other hand, if customers are expecting in 15 minutes, you can see the planning could be different in different environment. So fundamentally, what we are trying to see is, one is you should have the quantity readily available depending on the market or a demand for such product, and you have to maintain that quantity. Then only you will be able to service your customer. If there is something falling below the required quantity, then you have to order to the vendor. Possibly here you should know how much is the lead time and what is the batch size which vendor is going to supply, and accordingly it happens. Okay, when the number of item handle is less, then the complexity is less. But when you're handling 50,000, 1 lakh SKU, then you need a system. Okay, manufacturing, generally we use something called ERP. In that, MRP is one of the module where it helps us in managing the planning of material. Okay, it's going to check the schedule as per the order or the forecast, and then plan for the material. Okay, it is also going to check what is the inventory available, how much we have to order, what is the quantity already ordered, and then it nets up the requirement. Maybe in this slide we will see a image of a MRP grid. This is used in manufacturing environment, which is more complex than the retail environment. Retail environment, you are going to see both incoming and outgoing as the finished product, whereas in the manufacturing environment, you are going to see them as a incoming raw material. Then you have to schedule the production. That's where the conversion is going to happen, and then finally there is a finished product which is given. So this is one such area where manufacturing situation we use ERP module called MRP. In full form it is material requirement. Of course, you may be knowing what is the lead time for each of the material. Here we are talking about SKU number and what is the lot size or minimum order quantity. These details are required. In this slide, of course, you see the week on the top of this grid. It can be a week or month or even a day, depending upon what kind of lead time you are handling. Then, if you see in this table, there is something called gross requirement, which comes from the scheduling based on the management decision, how much inventory we have to keep for a particular product. Then, the second line, you have the data on scheduled receipt. Possibly you might have already ordered the item, but waiting for a delivery, or it may be in transit. That is called scheduled receipt. Then projected available. It's a calculation based on gross requirement, scheduled receipt. We are going to calculate project available. And finally, net requirement is the thing which we have to order. Okay, order means it could be from your vendor or it could be from your manufacturing plant. So this MRP converts the gross requirement into net requirement by checking whether any current orders are due and what is the inventory, and it is also trying to check in the BOM, bill of material, in the manufacturing environment, and then gives the net quantity what is required at each of the component level. And this is what is to be added. In the given example, 28 pieces are required in the week number 4. But you can see the next one is planned order receipt. We cannot order 28 pieces, but because the lot size is 100, so in the week 4, there is a order receipt is planned. You can see it's a planned order receipt. Though we need 28, we are ordering 100 because the minimum order quantity is 100, and also the lead time is 2 weeks. So you can see that in the week number 2, we are planning order release of 100 units for delivery in fourth week unit. Okay, though we require only 28, we are ordering because of the minimum lot size. This is how it works for each of the component level. Even if you have 10,000 or 20,000, 1 lakh SKU, you have to have a planning system. If not MRP, it could be with any other name, because earlier in a manufacturing environment it was MRP and DRP in distribution environment. Now every platform, e-commerce platform specifically, they have their own software, and which is all integrated. It's also called supply planning. The name can be different. Earlier SAP and Oracle were the leader. Now there are hundreds of vendors is available, but the logic is more or less the same. It may change depending upon what is the lead size, complexity of your product. Based on it is decided. Hope this is helpful. Anyone watching live, any questions you can comment either in LinkedIn or YouTube. This is to benefit either if you are attending any interview, or this knowledge can give some input to improve your function at your workplace. You can also ask similar questions if you have come across certain things which you are not in a position to answer. With this, I will conclude. Thanks for participating. Have a nice evening.